I'm Dr. George Flinn, and you're watching In-Depth TV. I'd like to talk to you about things going on in your life and things going on around the world. Now, what does that mean? Well, let me read a little something to you. It's from Teddy Roosevelt in, I believe it was 1910, when he was making a speech in France. And this is an excerpt from that speech. It was a really long speech, and I read the whole thing, page after page in this speech. Must have taken him hours to give this speech. But this segment of it brings together a lot of thoughts that if you're watching this show, I'm sure that you have had these thoughts and never had them presented as well as President Roosevelt could have presented these. It's just like it could have been presented today, and it will be presented today. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again because there's no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasm, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who knows at best in the end triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. So his place will never be with those cold, timid souls who never know victory or defeat. Now, who are you? Which one are you? Are you the critic? Are you the doer of deeds? That's the big question. It's not the critic who counts. We see people criticizing everything. I mean, you can criticize in politics, you can criticize in sports, you can criticize in church, you can criticize in business. Everyone can be a critic. But it's not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. Strong men, you see them, and you see them stumble. And you see people on the sidelines saying, oh, he fell down. Oh, he didn't do it right. Or how the doer of deeds, he could have done that better. He stumbled, but he did it okay, but it could have been a lot better. Those criticisms don't have to be, oh, he's terrible. They could just be enough to say he or she could have done it a lot better. And these are the very people that never attempt to do anything. They don't see what needs to be done and do it. The doer of deeds is the one who sees the challenge, the project, the way to make things better. He didn't say the way to make things perfect, the way to make things better. And I would encourage you to get out there and see something that needs to be done, and it's all over you. It's all around you. It's all over the place. All you've got to do is look. And you'll be shown something that needs to be done, and then do it. Now you say, well, I'm not trained, I can't do this. Those are excuses. You can get out there and do the things. Do something. Do something. Give the project a start. I remember once I was told, I heard a group of people, milling around, and a guy got up there and said, do something even if it's wrong. Do something. You'll see a need in the community, you'll see a need in the family, you'll see a need somewhere. And don't just walk by. Don't just look and say, well, I probably couldn't do it. Or if you see someone doing it, say, well, I could have done a better job, but you didn't. You be the one doing something. Be the one ready to take the criticism. And that's what this is about. You are going to be criticized because it's human nature, evidently. You're going to be told someone else could have done it better. Well, maybe so, but they didn't. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, the man who is doing their best, the man who is in the arena putting up the good fight, putting up at least a fight. I don't care if it's a poor fight. Like you see a boxing match, and you'll see two boxers, going at it. And one may be better than the other, and you'll criticize the one that's not doing as well. Or you'll criticize the one that's doing well and say, well, this fight should have been over a long time ago. Are you in the ring? Are you in the arena? Now, if you're in there fighting for what's right, fighting for what you believe, you deserve the credit. Your face may be marred by dust and sweat and blood. Yeah, some jobs are dirty. Some jobs you get hurt. Some jobs, really take a lot of effort. Dust and sweat and blood. And you're that person in the arena. That's what I want you to be, the person in the arena. I want you to strive valiantly. I want you to give it everything you've got. You see this need, don't just do it half-heartedly. Do it with every fiber in your being. Go the second mile, the third mile, the fourth mile. Do it with everything within you. Yes, you'll make mistakes. You'll come up short again and again, but you don't quit. If you're watching this show, you're not a quitter. You may come up short. You may have studied for a test. You may have taken an exam, and you may not have passed. You may have come short, just a little short, but you put in that effort. You did it, and my hat's off to you for putting in the effort. And you may come up short again and again, but there is just no effort without error, without mistakes. Nobody. I don't care if you're the greatest athlete in the world, you're the greatest person in politics in the world, you're the greatest laborer, you're the greatest whatever you do. You're the greatest pastor. You make mistakes. You have shortcomings. You don't do it perfectly. At least not the first time. Not the second time. Maybe the third, fourth, fifth time. Maybe it takes you that 10,000 hours that they talk about to become a true expert. But that shouldn't stop you. Everybody wants the 10,000 hours. Nobody wants to take the first hour. It's the same when people are out making money. Everybody wants to make $1 million. Nobody wants to make the first dollar. So I'm urging you to get out there and get in the arena. Get out there and do something with your life. Your life is going by. It's going to go by. Time's going to march on anyway. Do something. Make the most of your time here. And that means help your fellow man. Get out there and do something. You'll see a need. You will see this need out there. It will become very obvious. And then you have the choice of looking away, of saying, oh no, not me. I couldn't do that. I couldn't get my hands dirty. Or you have the choice of rolling up your sleeves and getting in there and doing something about it. But remember, who actually strives to do the deeds? I hope that's going to be you. That person who strives to do the great deeds will know tremendous enthusiasm. You'll know tremendous devotion. Spend their life in a worthy cause. And at the best, in the end, they'll know the triumph of victory, the triumph of high achievement. I didn't say perfect achievement, I said the high achievement. And they'll know at the worst, if there's total failure, at the very least, they fail while daring greatly. They dared greatly. They may have failed, but they dared greatly. And that's to say for you, it makes really, when you get down to it, it makes no difference if you succeed or fail. At least you tried. And there's so many people out there that do not even try. And you know who I'm talking about. And I don't want you to be one of them. I want you to get out there and at least try. At least get out there and say, I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to give it everything I've got. I'm not going to give it, like 20% of my best. I'm not going to give it 60% or 80% of my best. I'm going to give it 100%. Now, I heard people say, I'm going to give it 110%, 100%. No, give it 100%. 100%. And then you will join that great group of people who have tried. They may have failed. They may have succeeded. They may have tried and tried and tried. You know the old story about Edison. And I'm not sure how many, it was 1,000 or 10,000 tries to make a light bulb. And somebody said, Mr. Edison, why don't you give up? You failed like 1,000 or 10,000 times. And he said, no, I now know 10,000 ways to not make a light bulb. So I want you to be trying. So your place will never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. They know mediocre. I'm going to read it to you one more time. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again because there's no effort without error and no shortcoming not associated with this. There is shortcoming. There is error. But the person who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who, at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly. So his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat.